Being a great coach is about the questions you ask. It's not so much about, telling people or even showing people very often, but it's about how you can evoke awareness, uncover challenges, opportunities, insights, and ultimately help them to move forward, to grow, and develop. So let me tell you about how to do this in a very short time. Just to have an idea, my name's Jackson Kirches. I'm a managing partner at Happiness Means Business, Warrior Leader Training, and Guardian Leader Training, where we help military, that's your warriors, law enforcement, that's your guardians, and then Happiness Means Business is for business, nonprofit, and educators. And all these groups, what we do is take the science of happiness and human flourishing, bring it into organizations to improve performance. And so a big part of that is behavior change, insight, awareness, and coaching. So what are some bad questions? Maybe some questions to avoid if you're maybe you're a professional coach or a senior leader, but even if you're just trying to have more of a coaching mindset or a coaching relationship with the people you supervise or your peers and coworkers. First thing you want to be conscious of is why. Think about that. And maybe think about it with your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, whatever it is. Hey, why'd you do that? Even if you say it nice, it almost sounds worse. Hey, why'd you do that? Right? The why, oftentimes, why did you show up to this meeting that way? Why did you say that to the client? Why is this project not behind? Why are we not getting the performance we want? It's not so much that it's a stupid question or it's like an invalid question. It's just the framing. Often the why has sort of a defensive edge to it. So a better way to approach that, to really get a similar answer, is, hey, what led you to make that decision? Or what led us to having this problem? Or what was your reasoning for doing X? What went into doing X? Or, right, so you can see, still be cautious there, but especially if you're using the why, it can be kind of tricky. Now, notable exception to that rule is if you're asking someone, why does this matter? Or why is that significant to you? Which can be a really powerful question if they say, gosh, well, I feel like I need to get better at building trust with my team, or man, I've really been struggling with my work-life balance and I want to get that in order. All of a sudden, well, why is that important? Why is that significant to you? They're tapping into the motivation and the emotional context of, gosh, I really want to be there for my family, or man, I really want my team to care and feel inspired. So there you go. Next one that's kind of a bad question is really just categorically any of the leading questions where, you just want to tell this person to shut up and give them advice, but, you're kind of a sophisticated way of doing that. So you may ask them things like, hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if you did this? Or, hey, I think this is maybe a bad idea. What do you think? Or, hey, what if you just did this? Or, right, you can see what I mean. Wouldn't it be better to show up to meetings more prepared? Yeah, what are they going to say to that? No, I should show up to meetings unprepared. Thank you for the insightful question. So just be cautious. And again, this will go into in a second. I'll talk about good questions. But if you really, really, really feel a need to give advice, I'd say first thing you do is just be quiet, let it go. But if you keep coming back to it and the person could genuinely benefit from an idea or insight or thought, instead of the leading question, just ask permission. Hey, are you open? I know we're trying to coach here, but are you open to a thought? Could I share a bit of feedback? Could I share an example I've seen before that may be relevant here? And then all of a sudden, instead of a leading question, you have their buy-in. Okay, last question that you may want to consider avoiding is just some version of, does that make sense? And I see myself asking this a lot. I just tell someone to go do something, or tell them about my vision for a project, or, ask them this is how I'm thinking about this. Does that make sense? You know how many times someone has ever told me, no, Jackson, it doesn't make sense? Probably zero. And a lot of the ideas and projects I have probably don't make sense, right? Because that's the nature of being an entrepreneur. So look for different ways that maybe ask that question, hey, here's how I'm thinking about this. What's your impression? Or, hey, how do you see being able to apply this? Or, hey, I think this is pretty clear, but are there any ways in which it is not clear, right? All those are just a little bit better than does that make sense? Okay, because every time everyone's just be like, yeah, that makes sense, even if I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So some better questions to have in your toolkit as a coach to start the conversation. Two-parter, okay, but you want to ask one question at a time. That's a good rule for coaching. What's on your mind? What do you want to cover today? What are you thinking about? right? So it's just getting some people to think, okay, what's most important? What's through my conscious here? And then you may do a couple layers of that about, well, is that the most important thing right now? Or, what else is behind that? Okay, so you're getting them to really identify what matters for the conversation. And then it's, hey, well, what would success look like? 30 minutes from now, or an hour from now, or 3 months from now, what do we kind of want to accomplish here? Great. Something around, what's the real problem for you here? Or what do you need right now? Or what's true for you right now? Or just what's even the context? And this is powerful because it starts to set you up to create a vision for where we want to go and where we're at now, which then sets you up for the real meat of the coaching, which is being a partner to them as they explore, hey, this is where I want to go, this is where I am, point A to point B, how can we get there? What are the options? What have I tried? What could I try? Do we have other perspectives to draw on? Like, can I talk through my reasoning or my challenges, right? All that sort of the container of the coaching is set up by the questions you're asking to help them focus, identify where they want to get to, and then see where they're at right now. And then to close out, I'm going to give you a question and a little bonus, kind of a checklist, okay? What was highlighted for you in this conversation? Really powerful? Then what's the way forward? Boom. Again, 2 parts, but try to deliver one question at a time. So yeah, what was highlighted for you in this conversation? What was useful? What was important? What are you taking away? Okay, what does it look like to move forward? What's the next step? What's the next 10 steps? However you want to do it. But most important is make sure you're asking or communicating some version of what I call the 5 W's. I read about this from Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner. Who will do what, by when, where, and why? Simple recipe for clarity, expectations, and accountability. So we've just said all this. You've said this was important. You've said this is the way forward. What are you going to do? With whom? Where? By when? What is it again, and why? So did I just mess that up? Who, what are you gonna do, by when, where, and why? Make sure you're clear on that so that you can foster accountability for the next time you touch base with that person. So there you have it. There is my 7-minute how to be a great coach. A lot more that goes into it, and there's a lot I don't know, but start to play with that model and some of those tools, and I think it will take you far. If you're interested in having me speak, coach, train, advise, consult, or just have a free conversation where we talk about something interesting for your organization, reach out. Like I said, Happiness Means Business, Warrior Leader Training, Guardian Leader Training. We're happy to serve you, and check out our channel here for more free tips on happiness and high performance. This has been Jackson Kirchis. Thanks for watching.